What's up, guys? Welcome back to Columbia Auto Service. Today we have a 1997 Lincoln Town Car on the rack. Customer stated she had no brakes. What I had found was one of her brake lines, well, she didn't have any brake fluid in her master cylinder. That'd cause you not to have any brakes. No brake fluid would cause a no brake issue. So anyway, I found after I filled it up with fluid, got my helper to pump, I finally found the leak. It was right here at this rear driver's rear tire, right where it goes over the frame rail to the rear brake. It had a little pinhole in it. So I guess you could say I jacklegged it, because I didn't change the whole brake line. I just got a brake line and put some compression fittings in it. I've done that a lot and I've never had any problems with those compression fittings, but you never know. But it always works for me. But let me go over here and show you what I actually did. And then we're gonna try to bleed the brakes. All right, so here's my little old repair right here. The compression sleeve, and I just got a new line. It runs all the way from the master cylinder down the frame rail, but it couldn't leak right here where it would be easy to get to. And then I tied in right here, but it was leaking. And then it runs up over this frame, comes up through here, and then runs up here to this rear brake. But anyway, and there's my other fitting. That's where I tied it back into it, right there, compression fittings. I don't have a flaring tool, and I've always used those compression fittings, and they seem to work out pretty good for me. Knock on wood, I had never had any trouble with them. But anyway, this thing was leaking. I had me a helper there pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping. And as soon as she finally got it pumped up, it was leaking right in here between this frame and this body. So I just opted, I left the old line in there rather than trying to fish it out, and I just run me a new line in here. And I'm gonna probably tie it in there with some zip ties and leave it up there. And so we're gonna try to get it bled out, make sure we don't have any leaks. So I got a vacuum pump I'm gonna do the bleeding with, and if that doesn't work, then I'll get me a helper in there and do some pumping on the brake pedals. But let me get that vacuum pump and we'll get it over here, and then we'll see if we can get these brakes bled out. All right, guys, I ended up bleeding those brakes off camera. I started out with my vacuum pump, and since it was so dry, it was just taking too much time to try to vacuum it. So I got my helper up there, and she pumped and pumped and pumped and pumped, and finally got those brakes pumped up. And I'm already home now, and it's Friday afternoon. So I just want to try to put an ending on this video. And those compression fittings, I've used them for years now. I did try a flaring tool one time, and it just didn't work out for me. So I've always used those compression fittings. If anybody's ever had any problems with those compression fittings on brake lines, let me know. Let me know what the problems could be from, because they've always worked good for me. I've never had a leak on any of them, actually. But anyway, that's going to be all for this video from Columbia Auto Service for this week. We appreciate you, and we hope you have a blessed day.